Malmo, Sweden, and Gemini's crucial report looking at online services provided by governments across Europe is out. The benchmark measurement, as it's known, is released to eager delegates at the EGovernment conference. It's something that's been prepared for the European Commission since 2001.
The benchmarking report is fundamentally different this year than it was in 2007. Effectively, we've moved forward a half a step towards something which is going to be profoundly different in the future, and hopefully a globally based benchmark whereby we can compare Europe to the best in the world.
Inside the huge ex-Saab factory where the conference is taking place, EU Commissioner Sim Kallas reveals which nations are offering the best online availability.
I also take this opportunity to congratulate Austria, Malta, Portugal, United Kingdom, our host Sweden and Slovenia as leading countries in online availability of e-government services in Europe.
The report is based on more than 14,000 websites and shows European governments overall have made steady progress over the last 2 years in their online provision.
If you look at the core 20 services, you see Europe steadily progressing towards a high level of availability and sophistication. On availability, you see Europe progressing from 59% average availability to about 71%. Sophistication, somewhat smaller steps, going from 76% sophistication to 83% sophistication. In that, you do see quite a difference in different countries.
Some small countries have managed to move forward quite substantially. Some of the new countries have managed to move forward quite substantially. So we've seen some leapfroggers in terms of countries doing well compared to the last benchmark. There's a couple of countries like Austria, new countries, Portugal and Malta, that are really beginning to top the existing 20 measures. And I think there's something coming through in terms of what does it take for countries like that to really drive consistent and sustained performance.
Many governments may now be providing a high standard of online services, but that's not always matched by the number of people using them.
There can be as much as a 50% gap between the service being there and people actually using it. What is also intriguing is the northern part of Europe, so the northern countries, they seem to have narrowed that gap more. So there would appear to be more of an interest in using the modern digital technologies by Nordic nations.
From December 2009, a new law requires all EU countries to provide one point of contact for businesses wanting to set up there. All necessary forms and information must be available there electronically.
Probably 80% of Europe will be non-compliant at the end of December, but my guess is 80% will probably get away with it. It's important that we really focus on trying to improve the quality of service for businesses, to enable businesses to move around Europe, because that's the core of driving the economy. 99% of the millions of businesses that exist in Europe are SMEs, and we need to make it easier for them, because the burden on a small business is 4 times the cost of that of a large business.
E-government can be really helpful for saving money, not just by reducing burdens on businesses, but by making the interaction between people using services and governments more efficient.
If you hold up the aspiration of trying to make services twice as good in half the time for half the cost, it's entirely feasible. There are some superb examples of where that exists, and we need to just find them and do an awful lot more of those across Europe.